Hello and welcome to another live Wrestling with Johners, and we're all hyped, we're all excited. We are on the eve, we're on the verge of WrestleMania, just a few hours away, and we're live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So thank you for joining us if you're watching us live. And I'm going to go straight to introducing our guests. You probably know them if you watched the NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver review show from last night. Got Kieron Reed, and he didn't quite make the introductions last night, Kieron, but you're back. From the KJPWP. So welcome back to the show. A really, really good review last night, but tonight we're going to be talking about WrestleMania 37. So how are you, Kieron?
I'm all right. I'm glad to be back. Obviously, yesterday, minus the technical difficulties, fashionably late, just the way I like to be.
Indeed.
Really, really buzzing for Mania. Obviously, first live show with fans again. So it'd be nice to go through the cards and think where shocks are going to show up.
Exactly. And Nick, welcome back. This is your third appearance in just over a week. Of course, you was on with Mike Angus last Friday for our WrestleMania 17 look back. You was on again last night for our NXT Takeover review, and back to cover the matches and to do a bit of a preview and predictions of WrestleMania 37. So how you doing, dude?
I'm all good, man. Happy to be back. So yeah, just looking forward to this. Looking forward to seeing. I think we'll all have potentially differing opinions and predictions, so I think it's going to be interesting.
Indeed. And we're going to be going through, and I was quite surprised when I checked this out, it's 14 matches announced over 2 nights, which it probably makes it in more manageable chunks, night 1 and night 2. And we're going to be breaking it down, looking at the matches for night 1 that have been announced, and then the matches for night 2, and going through and giving you our thoughts on the matches before they happen, of course, and giving you our predictions on who we think might win, and possibly some surprises that could happen at WrestleMania 37. So let's go straight into it then. The first match that I've got down here is the match that is expected to open tonight. Is expected to be the curtain raiser for night 1 of WrestleMania 37. Only expected, mind, and that's for the WWE Championship. Bobby Lashley, the current champion, going into WrestleMania against Drew McIntyre, the former 2-time WWE champion, had his moment. Well, his moment was there last year, WrestleMania 36. Let's be honest, when he beat Brock Lesnar, but without fans, it was a quiet arena. They didn't even have the Thunderdome 12 months ago. But are we looking for Drew to take his third title and to have his WrestleMania moment in a stadium at the Raymond James Stadium, the same place it was meant to have taken place last year, in front of fans, albeit 25,000, which is better than what they have had of 0 and maybe a couple of hundred Thunderdome screens. But Kieron, this opener, Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE title. If this does open the show, it's going to be a hell of a start to proceedings. Give us your thoughts. How do you think the match is going to go, and who do you have picked?
In all honesty, I think Lashley, if you're listening to the dirt sheets and stuff online, Brock's due to come back at some point. And there's a big thing in Lashley's contract where he gets a match with Brock. So what better way to have it with the WWE title? As much as I want Drew to have his WrestleMania moment, I think storyline basis and to fulfill the commitment to Lashley, this is the perfect time to do it if Brock has re-signed. It will set up ready and perfect for SummerSlam. And it will be a match that everyone will be anticipating for. They've both got their MMA background. And it would, for me, it'd just be one of those matches where it would draw you in just to see how the wrestling style went in it.
Yeah, I did put something out on Facebook saying that I think Brock is due a return. There was always this kind of dream match scenario of having Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley in the future. But I still, in my heart of hearts, want Drew to win. And that's kind of my outcome, my ideal outcome. My heart is telling me Drew. My head is possibly telling me something different. But Nick, I'm going to throw it over to you. Do you see a different scenario in your mind? How do you see the match going?
I see that scenario, but just with a bit of a different spin. I think Drew wins. I don't think Lashley needs the belt to fight Brock. I think Brock versus Lashley doesn't need a title. Because I don't think Lashley would beat Brock, and that would then end up with Brock being the champ again. So I think Drew wins, gets the belt, but Brock is involved, and that sparks the Lashley-Brock match down the line.
I like that idea. Everybody wins that way because you get the return of Brock, you get the Brock and Lashley feud down the line. Drew manages to pick up his third title in front of fans with the pyro. What's your thoughts on potentially this match going on first then, guys? Because it has been heavily rumoured that this will be the curtain jerker. And they said if you can't main event a show, it's just as good to open it and set the pace for the rest of the night. And if they do open it, I think it's going to be a really, really hot way to open the show. Kieron, are you expecting them to open the show? And if so, do you think it's a good call?
To be honest, with the way the pay-per-views have gone recently, they've had the WWE title open the show the last 4, maybe 5 pay-per-views now. So it wouldn't surprise me. For me, for the WrestleMania card, for some reason, I feel like it's just taken away from the title a bit. You're having your guys fight for one of your biggest titles and you're having it open the show. When you've got things like the Tag Team Turmoil match, or you could even open it with a celebrity match with Bad Bunny and Priest versus Miz and Morrison. It's not something people are as much as emotionally invested in, but it's something they want to see. So for me to have the WWE title, it should be up just after or before Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, in my honest opinion.
Nick, what's your thoughts on it potentially being first, and whether it kind of tarnishes the importance of the match or the belt itself?
Yeah, I think Kieron just said is totally logical viewpoint. I think WWE being WWE, they just want that massive pop from the get-go. And for that point of view, yeah, it is what it is. I would like to see it later on in the card. But I do get where they're coming from. Just as soon as the show kicks off, there's no pre-show, there's nothing. The first thing that the fans are gonna get is Drew versus Bobby Lashley. That's huge.
Yeah, and potentially it will bookend the show really, really nicely with 2 big championship matches. But I'd say it's only kind of speculation at the minute that it's going to open the show. I think it's pretty much confirmed that Belair and Sasha Banks will close the show. But let's rock and roll. And before we do rock and roll on to the next match, just want to encourage anybody that's watching this live, send us your thoughts, send us your questions, send us your match winners. Who are some of your predictions of some of these matches? Tell us who you think could potentially win the match between Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. We want your outcomes, your predictions, your thoughts on tonight's show, night 1, and of course, night 2. We're going to be previewing both nights here on Wrestling with Johners Live, of course. So send us your comments now. But looking at what is potentially another match that I wasn't too keen on to start off with, certainly when the original pairing was announced. But the original match that I'm referring to, of course, was Bad Bunny versus The Miz, and that was an automatic turn-off. Since then, they've added in Damian Priest to be the tag partner of Bad Bunny and John Morrison to be the tag partner of The Miz. Makes it a little bit more appetizing for me, to be honest with you, because then you've got 2 decent wrestlers up against a celebrity and The Miz. But nice to see Damian Priest getting his WrestleMania debut for sure. He only had a kind of a relatively short stint in NXT. He was a North American champion, of course, and they've been featuring him quite heavily on the main roster, but obviously looking to get him over with this celebrity match. For myself, I'm going to kind of start proceedings here, and I think you want John Morrison to have a WrestleMania victory. Of course, he's paired with The Miz, but you could probably see the celebrity going over. That tends to be the way things go at these celebrity WrestleMania matches. So you're probably going to get Bad Bunny and Damian Priest win the match, but nevertheless, as long as it exceeds my expectations, which are quite low to start off with, then I'll be happy. But Kieron, where do your expectations lie with this one, buddy?
I think my mindset was with you when I saw the original pairing of Bad Bunny versus The Miz. I was like, it's a wise choice. Miz is a safe wrestler. If you watch it how he wrestles, he's not going to kill the guy. And people hating on Miz, you can't deny the fact that guy's been in that company for so long. He must be doing something right to be there and be a 2-time Grand Slam champion as well. But when they added Priest and Morrison to it, I was like, thank God. Because now there's something where you can give 2 people a Mania moment or 1 person a Mania moment. Either what way this match comes out, someone's getting a Mania moment. Obviously, you're going to give it to the celebrity and Damian Priest. I think Bad Bunny has been on the TV every week since Royal Rumble. So
Yeah.
you can't not do it. He's been there every week. You can't say he hasn't been there. He's been like a part-time celebrity. So
Yeah.
for me to give it to Bad Bunny and Priest, it's the logical way to look at it.
Yeah, and all joking aside, I think Bad Bunny, he's obviously being trained behind the scenes. I'm pretty sure we've seen him pull off a few moves inside and outside of the ring. And I seem to remember that him coming off the top turnbuckle onto a gang of wrestlers on the outside. So, because I think the first time we saw him was at Royal Rumble, and then, like you say, he's been featured pretty much every week since. So I think this probably won't be as bad a match as we're all expecting, or kind of jokingly talk about it. But Nick, give us your thoughts. Are you a Bad Bunny fan? Have you bought a Bad Bunny t-shirt yet? Because a lot of people have. Just wondering if you have.
I have not, but I think about 500,000 million people have.
Yeah, he sold a lot of merch.
But it's crazy, isn't it? But that justifies it, within itself from a business point of view. But yeah, it is just so much better now. Priest and Morrison are in there. Let those guys do, the heavy work throughout the match. Miz can tag in when Bunny's in to protect Bunny. But yeah, Priest will do the leg work. Bunny will come off the top with a splash. 1, 2, 3. Priest, Bunny, victory.
Yeah, and you're going to get some pretty awesome selling by John Morrison. I mean, he bounces around that ring like nobody's business, and he's one of the best workers in the business, although he's not really shown it since he returned just over a year ago. But could this potentially... I'm expecting a victory for Bad Bunny and Damon Priest, but could it potentially lead to a split between Morrison and Miz, which is something we expected to happen a while ago? Have a little bit of a singles program between those two and let John Morrison show what he's capable of and what he kind of showed in Lucha Underground and Impact after his first WWE run several years back. But so that should be interesting and kind of. The more I talk about it, the more interested in the match I'm getting. So maybe it won't be so bad after all. Let's have a look at this match. Another match from night one. The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods going up against AJ Styles and Omos. It's going to be Omos's WWE debut, if I'm not mistaken, possibly his wrestling debut, his ring debut, full stop. But I don't think he was a trained professional before signing the contract, signing on the dotted line with WWE. So this should be really, really good. And to be honest with you, you've got that Shawn Michaels Diesel kind of chemistry going on between those two. You've got the huge bodyguard in Omos, and we know that AJ Styles is Kieron's favorite wrestler of all time. So I'm waiting for Kieron to kind of jump in and tell us how awesome AJ is going to be in the match, and I'm sure he will be. But the New Day, I mean, they've been on the scene for a long time. They are 7 or 8-time tag team champions now. This isn't a tag championship match, but more of a match to get Omos over, I think, and kind of him kind of throwing his opponents around and AJ doing a bit of diving and doing what AJ Styles does best, I suppose. But Kieron, I'm kind of looking forward to this match, and I'm also intrigued about how they're going to use Omos. He's been definitely an intimidating giant of a man in everything we've seen from him so far. But what about yourself? Where do you see this match going?
Well, obviously, titles are on the line. Tags is the only title AJ hasn't won yet to be a Grand Slam champion. So for me, it's going to be the case of that AJ and Omos get it. You can't have a talent like AJ in your company that you fought to get for 15 years, and before he retires, you can't make him a Grand Slam champion. You can't not do it. Obviously, since AJ got in, look at some of the stars he's worked with, and he put on some amazing matches. Look at the SummerSlam match with John Cena, where everyone was like, "Oh wow, this is actually a really good match." And I believe it's a perfect partner for Almas as well. If Almas is making his in-ring debut, who better would you want by your side than AJ? I mean, I don't think if they do get the titles, it's going to be a long title run, but I think it will go off into an AJ Almas feud sort of situation, and it'll be a chance for AJ to kind of get Almas over for when AJ does leave the company, because I think he's in his final year of his contract now, and he's already said he's not going to renew, and he's just going to go be a family man after this. So AJ Almas for me.
Yeah, and like I said, I mistakenly didn't think it was for the championship, so it's actually for the Raw tag team titles, isn't it, Kieron? You're going to kind of correct me on that. That is right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent,
Yes,
excellent.
yes.
So, Nick, I don't know how much you've seen of Omos as AJ Styles' bodyguard, but this is going to be an interesting match. Certainly, the first time we've seen Omos. But any thoughts on this match? How you think it might go? And yeah, give us your thoughts, buddy. Hello, Nick.
I fully agree with Kieron on this one. I think you literally, like sort of say, AJ. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
I'm having internet issues now. Bloody hell. Okay, right. Yeah, sorry, my internet's just been temperamental.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, AJ, Amos, win. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Kieron pretty much said everything, I would say.
Yeah, I think they can't have a big monster like Omos in a debut at WrestleMania and not have that team go over. Yeah, I think New Day are going to lose their championships. We're going to see new tag team champions tonight at WrestleMania, and I think that makes that match all the more interesting for me. We've got one comment come in from Matt Bayliss, friend of the show, host of Pull Up a Seat. He said he's had his mind changed on Bad Bunny. He definitely didn't get it when they brought him in, but he has put in the work and not expecting a Matt Classic, but not totally against it. So I think that kind of sums up pretty much where we are with the Bad Bunny match against The Miz and Morrison, and of course Bad Bunny teaming with Damian Priest. So should be really, really good. One thing I want to say kind of off the bat is that there's a lot less part-time legends in WrestleMania. You haven't got your Triple H's. Of course, The Undertaker retired in the Boneyard match last year. You haven't got your Brock Lesnar's scheduled for a match. You haven't got the Goldbergs. It really is, I'd say 99% the card made up of full-time performers, which is absolutely fantastic. Very, very refreshing. In my opinion, makes the card all the more interesting and great to see talent that might have been pushed further down the card kind of in more prominent matches and more matches involving full-time talent, which I think is fantastic. Kieron, would you like to kind of say anything on my comments there as far as the lack of part-time legends and it being quite a refreshing change as it is this year?
It's for me, it's about time. I mean, I think we went nearly a whole year with a part-time Raw champion, and it was kind of used to elevate the United States title, but they didn't then advertise the US title that much on their main cards. So you went through like 9 pay-per-views of the year without having one of your major titles defended on it because Brock was part-time. And again, for me, it's one of those things where you want to build heritage with your titles and you're not doing it, giving it to a part-timer. At least when Goldberg had it, he showed up most weeks. He cut promos and he was on every other pay-per-view. Not every pay-per-view, but he was more prominent than what Brock was. So I am so grateful that there isn't a current part-time champion in the company at the minute. And I hope it stays there for a little while, especially around this time of year. You need a full-timer.
We've been crying out for years for them to establish more stars and to give the younger generation, the full-time roster members, more featured matches at WrestleMania. Nick, it looks like they're finally doing it this year. And why do you think that is? Why do you think they've made that sudden change of the distinct lack of part-time legends being involved in matches this year?
The skeptic in me wants to sort of say because of the global bastard, in the sense of they've been limited as to what they can sort of do, being in the Thunderdome. They're not pulling the people in, they're not willing to pay out the money because they weren't getting the audience pops at previous pay-per-views. And I just think they think just having a live audience back for Mania for the first time in like 12 months is, a selling point within itself. They don't need those guys on the show this year.
Yeah, no, you make some very, very valid points. Let's talk about match number 4 then. And now another match that turned me off when I first heard about it, when it was first announced. The more I think about it, and with the added stipulation, it's growing on me. But you've probably guessed which match I'm going to bring up next. Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. Now, speaking of part-time legends, this is one that kind of springs out a mile, to be honest with you, having Shane in there. But he's got to have his WrestleMania match. He's got to have his WrestleMania moment. They've got the bloody pirate ship that he needs to jump off of, for crying out loud. But this is advertised as a cage match. So hopefully they will stay in the confines of the steel cage. Yeah, like that's ever happened in a WWE pay-per-view. But this should be interesting. I think the build to this match has been okay. Shane, we haven't really seen a lot of him over the last year or so, so it's kind of refreshing to see him back. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how him and Braun gel in the ring, what sort of chemistry they have. These two characters very, very well. You know what Braun's all about. You know that Shane's going to be about, stick and move, and trying to jump off the highest thing that he can find, which in this scenario will be the cage, hopefully, and not the pirate ship. But I think this match has only got one outcome written all over it, hasn't it? It's got to be a Braun Strowman victory. But Kieron, that's only my thoughts. What about yourself?
See, for me, it all depends, because everyone's saying that Shane's going to jump off that ship. There's only one logical way Shane is jumping off that ship, and that's if him and Elias and Jackson Riker attack Strowman before the match, before they can get in the cage. So for me, it all depends on how the before goes into who the outcome will be. I want Strowman to win. Shane doesn't need his mania moment. Shane's moments are from... His legacy is from him jumping off of tall things. That is his legacy. I believe, for me, when I heard Strowman announce this as a steel cage match, I was like, oh, really? I want it to be like a last man standing match or something. So you could see Shane more in his element. If he's confined in a cage, unless they somehow manage to get weapons in the cage with him, you're not going to see Shane at his best. And I've just seen Nick go, ooh, and all that's reminded me of the Ambrose Asylum match. Do you remember the Ambrose Asylum match with Jericho?
To be honest with you, I put it to the back of my memory. To be honest with you, I wanted to forget that because it was awful. But carry on.
But do you know what I mean? Like TNA used to do Lethal Lockdown, something like that, like the War Games, like they do with War Games. I believe something like that would have put more anticipation into this and would have fought more into Shane's wheelhouse, which I think would have drawn more people in and thought it would have been more of an even fight. If you looked at this match just on paper as we're looking at it now, Strowman's going to win. And if you didn't know anything about the build-up, you'd go, it'd be a 6-second win. It'd get him power slam done. So I believe there's going to be some funny business in this, definitely. But Strowman will come over.
It's going to be one of their matches. It's going to be massively overbooked with outside interference. Like I say, I think the cage is just there as a gimmick, as a weapon. I don't think it's going to be used as a proper cage match. And this is the first opportunity they've had in over a year to actually have a huge stadium to brawl around in. And one of these matches has to kind of venture out into the crowd or into the stadium. And I don't think it's necessarily a case of what Shane's going to jump off of. It might be a case of what Braun's going to throw Shane off of. So we'll have to see. But Nick, any thoughts on this match and who's your pick?
I was totally right. What Kieron was saying there just totally clicked. I was like, I'd not even thought about that. Just putting Shane in the cage just totally negates what you want from like a Shane-O match. Like, so say a last man standing match would have been so much better. I think I mentioned this last week when we was talking with Mike. As long as Shane-O gets thrown off of something high and they use the Wile E. Coyote noise as he's falling,
there'll be dust cloud that comes up afterwards.
Yes, that's it. That's all I want. And I want Strowman to start saying I choose you as he picks his next opponents now as well.
Oh, please don't do that. Jesus Christ. I think I'd stop watching if he came on TV.
Like Goldberg's like, who's next? I choose you.
The problem with these prediction preview shows is when I'm talking to other guys about these matches, I'm actually getting excited about matches I wasn't previously excited about or thinking about. So I suppose that's a good thing, but then it heightens my expectations for when these matches actually start. But thinking about the possible scenarios between Shane, between Braun, the added element of the cage, possible outside interference, who knows, that bloody pirate ship we keep talking about. It could be a fun match. So
Elias and Riker are going to turn up, aren't they?
100%. 100%.
I actually had a question for you,
Elias.
John.
Oh, go on then.
So they're still going to be doing the hour pre-show. So because half these matches don't have many stipulations, and I believe some of them should have, do you think they're going to add any stipulations on the pre-show?
What, to the existing matches?
Yes.
I hadn't even thought about that, and I'm not expecting them to. just expecting him to go through all the bloody promo packages for the 7 matches that we've seen over and over and over again the last 2 weeks on Raw and SmackDown, and that's pretty much it. Probably going to get some behind the scenes interviews, but if we do get some added stipulations, then all the better. But we shall see. You never know. Expect the unexpected with the WWE. That's what they say, isn't it? But let's talk about a match that I am particularly looking forward to. When this got announced, I was all over it, and great to see these two fantastic wrestlers being featured. And it is, of course, Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. So brilliant for Cesaro, because this will be his first WrestleMania singles match. He's had Andre the Giant battle royals. He's been in tag matches with, Sheamus and Tyson Kidd and this, that, and the other. But this will be his first WrestleMania singles match, and he's been with the company 10 years. He started in FCW. He was there very briefly with NXT. Got called up pretty quickly. Was the US champion almost as soon as he debuted, and his singles kind of fell from there. Really, he won the Andre the Giant battle royal, the very first one back in 2014, WrestleMania 30. But they never really capitalized on that win. Great to see. I mean, he just gets better and better and better, Cesaro. Some people might say that his character's not quite there, his promos aren't quite there, but as a performer, as an athlete, he's pound for pound probably one of the best in the world right now, regardless of company. Going up against Seth Rollins, you could say he's the next Mr. WrestleMania. He knows how to do it on the big stage. My heart says Cesaro. My head says Seth Rollins. But what do you guys think? Starting with you, Kieron. Could this be Cesaro's year? Could this be Cesaro's breakout year after 10 years?
Honestly, like I said to you off air yesterday, I've been watching NXT from the beginning, from 2012. And I've just gone past Cesaro's feud with Sami Zayn. And seeing Cesaro back then, that was in the midst of when he was in his middle push. He was in Money in the Bank ladder matches. He was in Elimination Chambers. It was just after he lost the US title, when he was with the Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger. And that right there was some of the greatest stuff I've seen Cesaro do. And then shortly after that, Vince went on to say something negative about him, and that's when the Cesaro section started. They should have jumped on the Cesaro section stuff as soon as that went live. He could be.
They should have jumped on Rusev Day, and they never did.
It's WWE. What can you do?
I know. But unless it's their kind of idea, unless it's their invention, they don't want to know. But anyway, yeah. I digress. Carry on.
I think I'm a bit like you. My head is saying Seth. My heart is saying Cesaro. I'm going to go with my heart on this, and I want Cesaro to get it. Seth doesn't need it, and I believe Seth doesn't really need massive long programs at the minute. Seth can take a year back sitting in the sidelines, working with younger talent, trying to build his Messiah, Friday Night Messiah, whatever the hell he's going as nowadays. And he can use that year to build up before they go to the inevitable Roman Rollins feud, like they tend to do, because they have chemistry and stuff. But for me, I want this to be a start of the year for Cesaro, because he is one of the best, if not the best wrestler on the world, and has been for years.
Nick, are you excited by this match, and what are you expecting from it?
Yeah, this match or the Zayn Owens match are my two picks for match of the weekend kind of thing. I think both of these guys are awesome. It's going to do Rollins good to be up against Cesaro as well, because it'll make him up his game again. I think Rollins, we all know Rollins is great. We all remember him in the Authority. We all remember the kind of stuff that he was doing years ago. I just kind of think this Messiah character is kind of not been floating, but it's not been hitting those peaks. But I think put him in a match with Cesaro, and they will absolutely, pun intended, they'll just burn it down. They're just going to turn up, absolutely smash it. Rollins doesn't need the victory, so same as you guys, in my heart, I want Cesaro to win. As Kieron said, Rollins is protected. He can take the loss. He can sit back for a few months and then just be put back into the main event picture whenever they want, and we'll accept it because it's Rollins. It doesn't matter if he loses. Cesaro needs this. But I want Cesaro to win, but I'm expecting Rollins to win. So then I'll be pleasantly surprised when Cesaro wins. So I'm expecting the worst.
That's good tactics to go into WrestleMania with. But Matt Bayliss from Pull Up a Seat's been in touch again. Seth Cesaro is a potential show stealer, and it really is.
Dark horse,
I mean, but the only thing is they need to give him a little bit of time. And I'm not talking 30 minutes, but give him a good 10 to 15 minutes, and then you let him build a good story in the ring, and let him, both. Pull out their moves, get their shit in, as we like to say. But give them 10 to 15 minutes and let them show what they're capable of. I agree with Matt there. Could be a potential show stealer, could be match of the 2 days, or certainly match of the night for WrestleMania Night 1 anyway. Let's keep rolling. But once again, I just want to say a great opportunity for Seth Rollins to have a breakout match and a breakout year. Yes, it could happen. It could happen. So where are we? Oh, crikey. Now, here's a bit of a mouthful. The tag team turmoil. Now, is this a number one contenders match? I'm not entirely sure, but you've got Lana and Naomi versus Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose versus the Riot Squad, which comprise of Liv Morgan and Ruby Riot, versus Natalya and Tamina versus Billie Kay and Carmella. So a lot of talent in that ring. None of them in the kind of upper echelons of the women's division. That's probably why they've all been paired with one another. Kieron, any favourites in amongst the tag team turmoil teams that have been announced? And who do you think will go on to face the champions, Shayna and Nia, on night 2? And I think that's kind of the stipulation here. So out of them teams, who do you think, who stands out to you?
For just comedy value and the fact that no one knows what they'll do together, I'd have to go with Billie Kay and Carmella. They were thrown together yesterday and announced yesterday. But my ideal dream right now would be to have Trish Stratus and Lita come back and come in as just another team, just for a run-in. Let's face it, those two, they always had chemistry. But just to add a bit of excitement to this, I mean, you look at that line of divas on there, and there's only 4 real names there. You could even put potentially challenging for the titles, and that's Natty, Tamina, and the Riot Squad.
Yeah.
The others are kind of thrown together teams just to try and make the tag division a little bit bigger. When you've got teams in NXT that would more than willing do double duty and go to the shows. I mean, look at Ciampa and Gargano when they had their promotion for like a month before Ciampa got injured. They were going up. They were doing Raw and SmackDown and doing NXT. If you gave that opportunity to Shotzi and Ember Moon or any of the divas down there, they would do it. So they had an opportunity to fill this with more younger talent and more hungry talent. And they've chose just to stick with their generic normal stuff. I mean, Naomi only returned at the Rumble.
Yeah. For sure. But I mean, you're talking about a lot of NXT women's division wrestlers, but to be honest with you, with a lot of them, I'd rather see them stay in NXT with the way they could potentially get used on the main roster. But I mean, out of the how many teams we're talking, 4 or 5 teams there. I mean, if for anybody that saw SmackDown, I know Tamina and Natalya, there was a backstage brawl between all the teams, and Natalya and Tamina, they had the upper hand after that brawl, kind of. You could say on paper setting themselves up as the potential favourites in this turmoil match. For me, I've got to agree with you, Kieron. I'd love to see, for the entertainment value, see Billie Kay and Carmella overcome to go on to night 2. And let's be honest, Carmella's come on leaps and bounds the last 6 months or so. Some of the pay-per-view matches that she had against Sasha Banks were fantastic. And that's not something I didn't think I'd ever say about a Carmella match. So, you've got some wrestling talent in there that can perform on a big stage, but I'm going for Billie Kay and Carmella. Now, Nick, I'm going to throw this over to you. I can't imagine this is very high on your list of matches that you're particularly looking forward to over the next couple of nights, my friend.
Only if Liv Morgan is wearing the Christina Aguilera gear again. That's the only point I'm interested in. I think, yeah. But yeah, I think you're spot on. Comedy value, Billie Kay, Carmella, I think they'll do they'll be able to put on a good match against Baszler and Jax. Again, the only issue is Carmella heel, but then again, the only other option would be Natty and Tamina for me, because you've got that history between Tamina and Nia Jax, which they could incorporate into a story in the match tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know who's. I want the Riot Squad to win it. Purely because I think they deserve the belts. They're probably one of the only remaining actual female tag teams left that aren't just been thrown together. Give them the belts. If you want to have a females tag division, put the belts onto actual female tag teams.
Give it to an established team. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and if they are looking to switch the belts on night 2, I agree with you. Give it to an established team for sure. Yeah, it's all good. And then what could be our potential main event tonight? For the SmackDown Women's title, Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. Let's be honest, guys, this is one of the more mouth-watering, more anticipated matches, pretty much from the Royal Rumble when Belair won the title. The Boss versus the EST is pretty much all that most people have been talking about now. Some might say that the build to this match hasn't been particularly great. I think, Nick, I can't wait to hear what you have to say on the build to the match, but I don't think we're going to deny, seeing these two ladies, main event WrestleMania, it's going to be pretty special, isn't it, to be honest with you? And we know that these two, regardless of the build, are two of the best women in WWE, regardless of brand. And you could say that these two women are up there with being two of the best women in the world, regardless of company. So this match, like I say, give them time, give them a good 15, 20, 25 minutes to close the show, and they will deliver. I'm really looking forward to this one. Kieron, I'm going to throw it to you first. Give us your thoughts on this one, and who do you think will win?
So if anyone watched the Royal Rumble podcast, I called this match literally the day after the Rumble. I said, everyone was like, it's going to be Bianca Belair, Sasha. This is going to be, for me, if not match of the weekend, I'm going to go with potentially one of match of the years. I believe these two and their chemistry together, given a good enough an amount of time with the talent involved with the two women, they are going to put on an absolute masterclass, because they're both kind of similar in styles, with Bianca Belair being that little bit stronger. So it's going to be a clash of strength versus speed, but they're kind of the same build and stuff. And it's very reminiscent to me when Sasha Banks was wrestling Bayley in NXT. And it kind of reminds me of that sort of chemistry as well. Like, I know their build-up hasn't been fantastic, but when you do see those two together in the ring, you can kind of see the connection and the fireworks between them. Not in promos or anything like that. I believe having them fight for the tag titles and stuff like that on the build-up was okay for the first month. They took it on for way too long. I mean, they were tagging up until about 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And
They copied a page out of Bret Hart, Owen Hart, and kind of they were tagging together just before their match leading up to their WrestleMania 10 encounter. And I think, it kind of reminded me of that. We know that they were going to get together eventually, but yeah, putting them together as a team. And Nick, I'm really interested to know your thoughts on this one. I'm definitely looking forward to this one, but what about yourself?
It's also reminiscent of Cena and HBK. They do this a lot going down the line. They know if you've got a main event Mania, they'll make you challenge for the tag titles at some point. On paper, this is going to be an absolutely top-notch match. My only concern is I would be, without a shadow of a doubt, I would predict this as being the match of the weekend if it was on a takeover. If these two women had creative control of the match, like in NXT or in a takeover, they will absolutely smash it. My only concern is like a Pritchard or a Hayes or somebody is going to have too much control on the match, and we're not going to get to see what these two can do. It's going to be a WWE match as opposed to I know it's the same, but you know what I mean. You can see it with the people that have come up from NXT. The matches aren't quite as good as they were at that point. Hopefully that'll be a stormer. I really want it to be. They're both amazing. They should both smash it. I'm just worried about the WWE effect.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I've been watching WWE for too many years not to agree with you, to be honest with you. But I'm just hoping in my heart of hearts, if they decided to put this match on last, they're going to give it time. They're going to build a good story. As long as there's not too many, I'm not expecting any shenanigans or any kind of weird booking angles, to be honest with you. Give them 20 minutes, 25 minutes for a straight match. Let them show what they can do, because we know what Sasha's all about. We've seen some classic 5-star matches from her in the past. We know Bianca Belair. I don't think we've seen the best of Belair on the main roster yet. And we probably didn't see the best of Belair in NXT yet, but we've seen glimpses. And if she can put that into one match, boy, we're in for a hell of a match. We really, really are, because she is, the best women's athlete in the world today, I think, with everything she's capable of, with the glimpses we've seen. But definitely a mouth-watering match, and I can't wait to see that for sure. And it will main event night 1. Let's have a quick look at what could potentially open night 2. Like I say, they could close night 1 with the women's match. They could open night 2 with another women's match, possibly for the Raw Women's title. Asuka versus Rhea Ripley, another really, really tasty match. So you go from one awesome women's championship match to another. What can I say about this match? This match was thrown together at the last minute, similar to Belair and Banks. Bit of a shoddy kind of storyline angle. I think originally they had Charlotte pitched to go up against Asuka for the Raw Women's title and have a rematch from 3 years ago in New Orleans. But we don't really know what's going on with Charlotte, and I'm not prepared to speculate. However, Rhea Ripley, an even better replacement as far as I'm concerned, once again using fresh talent and opportunity to put Rhea over where she didn't go over last year. But do I really want Asuka to lose her championship? Maybe not. I just want a fantastic match. I'd be happy if either one, to be honest with you. So, Kieron, I'm going to throw it to you. Do you want Rhea to win, or are you on the side of the fence that wants Asuka to keep her championship? Tell us your thoughts.
So, I've been thinking about this match quite a lot. And as you know, I'm quite a fantasy booker. And with everything that's happened this weekend, I believe giving Rhea the belt right now would be good for the company, with the fact that you've just freed up Io.
Okay.
And it is exactly the same thing that happened with Asuka.
Right.
Do you remember how dominant Asuka and Kairi Sane were as tag champs?
They were dominant. Wasn't quite how we wanted them to be used, but yes, they were dominant as a duo, yeah.
Asuka and Io.
What, as a tag team?
No. Yeah.
I'd rather see them kind of go up against one another on opposing sides.
Yeah, that'll happen as well at some point.
Yeah, like I say, all the tag teams come to an end in the end, but yeah.
It's WWE. We wanted to see Asuka versus Kairi Sane as well before they became a tag team, and that didn't happen. And then Kairi Sane went back to Japan because WWE can't book to save their lives. But for me, in all, Rhea Ripley is probably my breakout star for the last 2 years. She has put on some amazing matches, no matter who it's against. Apart from the little botch at Royal Rumble, where technically she won because Bianca Belair's feet hit the ground, but we won't go into that.
So who are you going with?
That's
then,
what
buddy?
they put it on for. Rhea.
Going for Rhea.
Because if I don't, Madeline will beat me up.
And I'm inclined to agree with you, only because I think that I don't think they're going to put Rhea on the losing end 2 WrestleManias on the trot. And I think they've got something very, very special with Rhea Ripley, and Asuka's, dare I say it, done it all and needs fresh opponents, possibly without the belt. That's just my 2 penneth worth. Nick, what about yourself, buddy?
Yeah, just let Rhea get redemption from last year. She should have won last year at Mania. Let her win this year. If she doesn't win, just please don't have a cry. But yeah, it's Ripley. Ripley's got to take the belt. Asuka's great, but they don't really do anything with her as a champ. I mean, for the most part, I think she last defended it middle of last year, and then after that, she's like tag champ with. It's just, yeah, Asuka is champ. They don't like, for some reason, they don't push her as a dominant champion, which they should. But give it to Ripley, push her as a dominant champion. Just have Asuka have awesome matches, just as a competitor that she is. So yeah, Ripley all the way for me.
And something else, and another kind of bit of evidence that they've kind of gone very, very cold on Asuka, the WWE I'm referring to, is that I don't think she's defended her championship since, was it Night of Champions in October?
That's what I was on about, yeah.
My God, it's almost as if, they've forgotten that she's the champion. Now, I know sometimes it's easy to forget who is the Intercontinental Champion or the US Champion, but she's your women's champion, for crying out loud. She hasn't defended her title on pay-per-view since October. So, yeah, I think get the title off of her, give it to Rhea Ripley, give it to some a young, fresh talent just coming onto the main roster, give Asuka somebody else to perform with, and let's see what Rhea does with the belt. Now, guys, I want your opinion on this match: The Fiend versus Randy Orton. Oh God! I just have flashbacks of which WrestleMania was it? WrestleMania 37, 35, the one with the maggots on that come down and projected down into the worms, and please, and we've seen so many matches between these two where I just don't know where to start. And now, to be honest with you, this is going to be my piss break, or this is where I'm going to be putting the pizza in the oven and forgetting this match existed. I can't get excited about this match. I really can't get excited about this match. And they've tried, and they've inserted Alexa Bliss into the storyline, and this, that, and the other. Is she kind of like the metamorphosis of the Fiend after he got burnt to a crisp, and now he comes back looking like the Yeti from WCW or whatever it was. But slightly, yeah, guys, I want your help with this one. I don't really care who wins this match. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound negative. Kieron, make me enthusiastic about this match. Make me care about this match. Come on, no pressure.
See, I've said this a lot since they burnt Bray live on TV. Stupidest thing they've ever done. You've built this guy to be so dominant, and then you've got let's set him on fire and write him off TV. Bloody idiots. But in all honesty, this is why I asked the question earlier about if they're going to add any stipulations to any of the other matches. This match needs to have a stipulation. This can't just be a straight up wrestling match, and it can't just be the Fiend playing stupid mind games for no reason.
I thought he might have done an Inferno match with this. I was half expecting him to turn it into an Inferno match or something similar, but
a Funhouse match.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
See, I think a Funhouse match like they did with John Cena would be good, because you could go through Randy with the Evolution side of things, and you could even have a couple of cameos in there with Triple H.
I've seen her turn back up.
Have Cena come back. There's so many things, especially with the creative mind of Bray as the Fiend, even though I don't think it's actually Bray playing the Fiend. I think it's Bo Dallas at the minute. But for me, they've missed the ball on this. And considering it's going to be in front of a live crowd, you could have put so much more build up and anticipation if you just added a stipulation. Last man standing, Firefly Funhouse, Inferno match, just 2 out of 3 falls, 3 stages of hell. Bring that back. I think that would have been perfect for this match. 3 stages of hell.
We're going to get some weird tomfoolery shenanigans, call it what you will, aren't we? And Nick, give us your thoughts on this one. Who do you think is going to win? Is this a match that you particularly care about at the moment? It might be good to have low expectations, because then it might not disappoint as much, but give us your thoughts on this one.
I really want to enjoy this match. I'm still a fan of Bray. Obviously, what they've done to him. I'm still rooting for the guy, because hopefully it will come good at some point. But yeah, the fact that this hasn't got a stipulation is just absolutely bonkers, man. This is like this had Firefly Funhouse 2 written all over it. They could have done the whole, as they did with Cena. You could have had like the past mistakes of Orton being played out. I think it was James Richard on the show recently sort of said you could have had Cena pop up in the Firefly Funhouse like it's been stuck there since last year.
That would be
and that's
awesome.
How he gets the hell out, kind of thing. It's just stuff like that. And I'm with Kieran on this. I'm really, really hoping that it is Bo Dallas that's currently wearing the Fiend suit, and then we get like a Crazy Steve kind of version of the Fiend played by Bo Dallas. and then Bray comes back as the Fiend.
Yeah, well, this match has got a lot of interest from some of our listeners. Let's go to some of the comments. First of all, Ashley Clements, he says it was WrestleMania 33 where they had that match with the maggots and all that. But thank you, Ashley. From Scumbags of Wrestling, I wonder how they'll do the smoke and mirrors here. And Scumbags again has said that he's expecting a double doink thing. Potentially, if it's Bo Dallas in the Fiend costume, we could have the Fiend and Bray together in the ring. That would be pretty good. That would be something okay-ish. Yeah.
Something else I wanted to say about this match as well. Sorry.
Yeah, just quickly from Scumbags, cameos with Nexus 2, recalling that the punter Husky. So that could have been an element they could have put into the Firefly Funhouse match. Scumbags again, kind of backing you up, Kieron, saying the 3 stages of hell would have been good. Scumbags again saying who is face and who is the heel in this match, because at the moment it's hard to tell, but does it really matter? I don't know. Does it matter? But I don't know. They're both kind of heels in my opinion with the way they've been acting. Kieron, carry on, buddy.
So I've seen some photos online of they're doing some crazy drone stuff with the Fiend's entrance. From what I've seen, just watch out because it's going to be pretty good. But I didn't actually pick a winner. I'm going to go with the Fiend.
Me too.
I got too caught up in WWE booking it wrong, but I didn't actually pick a winner.
Yeah. I think that's the 3 of us, and this will be the first proper WrestleMania match of the Fiend's character since his debut in about May of 2019. So that'll be quite interesting with the entrance and everything like that. Really, really good. Keep the comments coming, guys. Keep the comments coming because we're really enjoying this. And that match got more mileage out of it than it probably deserved, as far as us 3 are concerned. I hope it delivers something anyway. Let's talk about a match that does interest me. Big E versus Apollo Crews for the IC title. I've really, really enjoyed the character change of Apollo Crews. I think his character development over the last couple of months has been absolutely spot on, something that's been long overdue and something that was much needed years ago when he first signed. So really, really enjoying the Apollo Crews character. Big E, I think, has been an excellent IC champion. Not only is he delivering in the ring, he's delivering behind the microphone. Some of the promos and some of the hype packages involving Big E for this match have been absolutely fantastic. They wrestled on the last pay-per-view, the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. I think it was Elimination Chamber, and had a bit of a dodgy ending. Yeah, but this will be, an interesting rematch. Good to see Apollo get his WrestleMania moment, being in a featured match. Also good to see Big E involved in a championship match at Mania as well. So I'm looking forward to this, much in the same way I am with Cesaro and Seth Rollins. This is a bit of a fresh match, kind of fresh match, although they wrestled on the last pay-per-view, but you know what I'm saying. But Kieron, I'm looking forward to this one. What about yourself, buddy?
Yeah, I agree. I believe the Apollo character change has been amazing. For some reason, there's something about this match that isn't drawing me in. I believe it's the stipulation. What is a Nigerian drum match?
Don't know. As long as it's not a Punjabi prison cell match, I don't really mind.
Hey, I actually kind of liked the concept of the Punjabi prison cell match. I just didn't like the wrestlers they put inside them.
Well, yeah, because it nearly always involved the Great Khali. Oh, the Hall of Famer Great Khali, sorry.
But like you said, it's nice to see Crews get the push he deserves. And for me, these two, they have chemistry. And I don't know why they weren't put in a program together before. I mean, you could have even had Crews go for the tag titles and you still would have seen that chemistry come through a little bit. But for me, Crews is going to pick up the title because I believe WWE will try and push Big E to the Universal title now. They've done his little mid-card moment like they do with most wrestlers, and then they'll slowly try and push him to the Universal. I'm not saying he's going to be successful to become the Universal Champion. I want him to be. I'm not saying WWE will want him to be. But for me, it's the perfect time to free Big E up and give Cruz something to do as well.
Yeah,
So
and I
I'm
think
going
for a long
Cruz.
time now, there's been, on the cards for Big E to be pushed for bigger and better things. And then, of course, he landed the IC title, which was a nice kind of middle of the road thing for him, an in-between thing for him to do in between. Nick, I'm very interested to hear what you think about this match. What's the stipulation again? Sorry?
Nigerian
drum.
I think there's a drum in every corner, and you have to bang your
attention.
opponent's head on each drum.
Really?
That'd be pretty cool.
No. Oh, gullible Jonathan.
Like a ring post match where you used to have to go Texas bull rope match, but you have to smack your head's opponent against it. That'd be.
Or you have to bang out the tune for "Winds of Change" by Africa on the drums or something. I don't know. But yeah, this is going to be an awesome match, man. This is going to be absolutely banging. Cruz. This is one of those matches though that has caused people to kick off a bit, like saying, "Oh, why do we need to see it when we saw it at Fastlane?" What we saw at Fastlane was just a taster, a teaser of this match. They got a very short amount of time. They teased a little bit. This is going to be the 15-minute match. This is where you're going to get to see both guys doing what they can do, and both of these guys are quick, they're strong, they're agile. It's going to be. It could be. I mean, we're on about Rollins and Cesaro. We're on about Zayn's and Owens. This could be the sleeper match as well. To be fair, this could be the sleeper match.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, when you look at the card from top to bottom, and I know we haven't spoke about all the matches yet, but there's a lot of quite tasty matches on this year's WrestleMania. The more we talk about some of these matches, the more excited I'm getting. A few more comments coming through from Scumbags of Wrestling. Thank you, Scumbags. But a tough call. Cruz has been beaten each time. Big E is great. There's great promo, and no more kiddie garbage from Big E. So Big E's got a bit more serious. And potentially spelling out a win for Apollo Crews in this one, just to turn the tide a little bit. Very, very interesting. And Scumbags again. Big E loses, but wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. So that could be very, very interesting. And when you were mentioning earlier, Kieron, about Big E potentially going on to being a challenger for the Universal Championship, that automatically made me think about, who would I like to see Big E go up against for the Universal Championship out of the three opponents? Maybe we can have a little talk about that a bit later on. The next match, where are we? Match you just alluded to, Nick. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn with Paul Logan. Now, Paul Logan, big name on YouTube, however many millions of the millions and millions of Paul Logan fans on YouTube. However, what is he going to be there to do? I know Sami Zayn, his gimmick is he's filming this documentary, and I don't really know how this is going to play out. What I would like them to do is to knock Paul Logan out, kind of shove him over the barrier, and then Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens can just have a decent wrestling match, give them 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then just do what they do best. But I'm glad they've both got a match against each other on WrestleMania. They've been best friends, they've been tag team partners, they've been bitter enemies for years and years and years and years and years. I even saw them team together in New Orleans WrestleMania 36 against the returning Daniel Bryan and Shane O'Mac. So they've been in the ring together in WrestleMania before, but now they're on opposing sides. We know these two have outstanding chemistry. We know this is going to be a good match. The only kind of fly in the ointment is what's going to happen with Paul Logan. How is he going to? We know he's going to be a factor in the match at some point. Kieron, give us your thoughts, please.
I was really excited about this match until I saw Logan Paul's name come up. Mm-hmm. And the only reason he is there is because he's got a boxing match on the 17th. And that is literally the only reason. For me, it doesn't need Logan Paul. Logan Paul's going to screw one of them over. That is a guarantee. He's going to interfere on one of their behalfs. And I believe it will be on Sami Zayn's behalf. Owens has kind of had a Mania moment. Zayn hasn't yet. So it's another
Zayn beat
one.
Daniel Bryan last year. Zayn beat Daniel Bryan last year. That was a Mania moment of sorts.
But yeah, good point. Okay, that changes my pick. I'll go with Owens then, but I believe this will be the match. I believe this will be the match where you'll see some pretty big high spots. I believe both these guys know they can be safe with each other. So if they're going to do any risks, this will be the match you'll see the most risks taken in, which is why, again, it will be another one of those sleeper potential steal of the show matches. But like you said, just kill Logan Paul off. I don't care how you do it. Put him through a table or something. Kill him off, get him out of the match, and then you two can do what you do best and wrestle.
Yeah, as long as whatever Logan Paul does doesn't take away from the action, I think we could have a good match on our hands. Nick, give us your thoughts on this one, please.
Well, it's interesting because I kind of realised this a couple of weeks ago. I think this is the first time we're getting Zayn versus Owens, where Owens is the good guy. I think every match in the history, Zayn's been the good guy and Owens has been the heel. This is the first time the dynamics shifted. So I'm interested to see how they play on that side of things. But yeah, Kieran's right. Those two guys know each other like the back. They're going to be safe. It's like what we said about O'Reilly and Cole last night. They're good mates. Same as like the Shawn Michaels Triple H thing. These guys will just go at it because they trust each other 100%. They'll take chances. They'll know they're safe, and hopefully they'll get a good 15, 20 minutes match, and they'll get it. Owens for me will win. Cruz for the previous match as well. I never actually said my pick was for Cruz to win. But yeah, Owens to win this one. Barn-burning match. Logan Paul will be walking around looking for the dead man to film and realising that Taker's retired. And that's, it's done.
Yeah. And I'm going to go for a Kevin Owens victory as well. It'll be, I think it's KO Mania 5, if I'm not mistaken. So this should be a really, really good match. But just a couple of comments that have come in. Ashley Clements, thank you, Ashley, for sending us another comment. We're going to see KO jump off the pirate ship as he wanted to do it last year. We saw the kind of the WWE documentary that covered last year's WrestleMania, and KO wanted to jump off of something. He said he wanted it to be the pirate ship. He ended up jumping off of the WrestleMania sign at the PC. So that could be, whether they're going to let him do it or not is another thing altogether. That would be pretty cool. Scumbags of Wrestling again. Dream match for these two best friends to fight each other at Mania. So I'm sure that this has been a lifelong dream of these two to actually have a fight. They've been tag team partners at WrestleMania before. They was even in the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 32, I think, in Dallas. And that was another good match. But this is their first one-on-one encounter. And an interesting point that you mentioned, Nick, that it's the first time that KO is the face, Sami Zayn as the heel on opposing teams. So really, really good. So I think we've only got a couple more matches to look at, to be honest with you. The United States Championship match between Riddle and Sheamus. I don't like what they're doing with Riddle, with Matt Riddle's character. He's almost portraying like a 7-year-old kid riding around on his scooter and annoying everybody backstage and annoying everybody at home. But I think in the ring, he can't be faulted. He's had some good matches. He's pulling out all of his moves. So once he kind of finds his character and is not so annoying, then maybe Riddle will kind of get over with more people. But they are using him. He's currently carrying the gold. So he's been utilised really, really well in that sense. And against Sheamus, and Sheamus can perform. He's a big dude. He can do the business in the ring. I think Sheamus must be winding down now because this must be his 10th or 11th WrestleMania, to be honest with you. But is he there to put Riddle over as the experienced pro, or is he there to kind of get one more championship reign with the US title? But Kieron, give us your thoughts on this one, please.
This is one of those matches I'm not overly interested in. It's only had 2 weeks to build. It's not against the wrestlers involved at all. I like Sheamus's gimmick and I like how he is now. I think at the minute he's doing some of the best work he's ever done. It's like WWE have gone, go be a bruiser. You can go make your own gimmick. You can go do what you want, but just go and destroy people with punches and forearms and everything. it's what they've taken away from Riddle for me. In ring, he's amazing. His promo stuff is terrible. I mean, you saw that video where he forgot his lines with Oscar, and he just rode off. It just went, yeah, I'll see you in a bit. So for me, I think this will be a case of Sheamus is going to get the title off of Riddle, because I think it's going to be some sort of punishment for that. WWE don't like that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they see it as an opportunity. We mentioned at the top of the show, not so many legends, not so many part-timers, very, very noticeable that they've got a lot more of the younger full-time talent in featured matches, this one in particular, with Riddle, I'm referring to. So it'd be nice to give Riddle the push and the win here, to say, yes, we're firmly getting behind the young talent and we do want Riddle to succeed. This is his first WrestleMania. I'm going to go with Riddle only because I want that to happen, and I want them to push the younger talent and to actually follow through on a promise that they made years and years ago to actually, give the fans what they want. But Nick, what do you want from this match, Riddle or Sheamus?
I want Riddle to retain, but I just want a good match, which I think we'll get. Like I say, with the out of the ring stuff with Riddle is it's atrocious. It's a joke. I really want to like it. I just can't. I find myself with my head in my hand just like every time he's on the screen, just cutting a promo. I can't. But the Cheech and Chong fan of me really wants to like it, but I can't even get behind it. But in the ring, the dude's awesome. We know this from NXT. If they let him do what he does in the ring, awesome. Sheamus has got to be one of the most underappreciated guys in the business for the last 10 years. The guy always delivers, whether he's in a tag team with Cesaro, whether he's doing a singles run. Sheamus is great, and I think these two guys it's going to be very stiff. It's going to be hard hitting as hell. They'll feel it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to be, I think as fans will get a top match out of it. But like I say, Riddle retains just to show a bit of faith in the next generation of guys.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you two have just said, and I think that this will be a hard-hitting match. We know how hard Sheamus hits. We know that Riddle can take the punishment and then give some back, especially with his MMA background. He's not afraid to kind of take a beating and then kind of give one back. So I'm quite intrigued by this one. Nick, you've got something you want to jump in there? Yeah.
Just please, no birds. When he kicks off his flippers, no birds coming out of his shoes.
Oh, please, God, no.
I haven't noticed that. Maybe I'm just a bit detached from the product at the moment, but it's probably a good thing because now I'm going to be looking out for that.
When he jumps in the ring and kicks off his shoes, they've animated birds flying towards the screen.
God almighty.
And one thing about Riddle, and he's gone, oh, Jesus.
I know I've kind of got these images now, but I mean, with regards to his backstage promo work, and we know that it's a bit cringy, but fortunately, only Riddle has the kind of the personality that can get away with making them sort of gaffes and having them sort of promos, but it's not the direction we really want to see him go in, to be honest with you. But maybe it's just the start of a long-term thing where he kind of, changes his character over time and becomes a bit more popular with everybody. But the second to last match, we're not really going to talk about this, but this, of course, is going to be for the WWE Tag Team Women's Championship. And it's going to be Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler against the winner of the Tag Team Turmoil from night one. So we're not going to dwell on this at all. I think we kind of spoke earlier about who we think might be in this match, but I'm not going to kind of go back to that and talk about this one. Instead, I want to talk about what should close proceedings on night 2, should finish WrestleMania 37, the Universal Championship match, Roman Reigns versus Edge. Let's include Daniel Bryan in that as well. And in fact, to be honest with you, I think Daniel Bryan does deserve it. I think the storyline has warranted adding Daniel Bryan to it, especially with his performance at the Elimination Chamber and then his subsequent match at Fastlane against Roman Reigns. And they have built a nice story here. And I think all three kind of really on point with their promos. I think the build to this match has been pretty decent, in my opinion. I'm expecting a really good match from these three as well. I don't know which way to go. Do we get another WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan overcoming? Is that one of the reasons why he's been put in the match, or has he been put in the match to take the pin from Edge so that Roman Reigns doesn't lose any of his shine? Because, of course, he has been one of the best performers in the world over the last however many months since he returned. Of course, he was meant to have been in a featured match at last year's Mania until he withdrew, and we all know what happened there between Strowman and Goldberg. But Roman Reigns has been on fire since he's returned. Daniel Bryan is having a really good run at the back end of his career, and Edge has been fantastic since he returned and won the Rumble in January. So I'm a bit torn. I think this could be a really good match. My heart says Daniel Bryan. My head says Edge. But then another part of me thinks that Roman Reigns has been so dominant that he's going to retain. So I really don't know. I might be swayed by you two. Kieron, start with you. Who do you think is going to overcome? How do you think this main event's going to go?
So my heart says Bryan, my head says Edge, and on this one, I'm going to have to go with Edge to take the title. I believe Bryan's been added to take the pinfall, and you can still keep Roman Reigns' character built as the dominant heel. He can then go into a solo program with Edge and be like, I never lost my title. I'm still the head of the table. You never pinned me to beat me. You know, that generic stuff they always do when the champ never actually gets pinned in a triple threat match, which I think will help Reigns' heel character as well. Personally, having him chase a bit longer as a heel, I think would fit perfectly for him. And obviously, we all know Edge is the ultimate opportunist. All it takes is one mistake for Edge to pick up a win or find a way to cheat to win. So you could even have that program go on for a few months until Reigns gets the title back. Earlier, we talked about shock returns. For me, I believe this could be one of the matches that Brock comes back in just to kidnap Paul Heyman. And you took my manager. I'm taking him back, Roman. I'll see you in a bit. Just pick him up and take him away. Who's going to stop him?
Yeah. Another name that I thought could potentially get involved is Jey Uso. Jey won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on SmackDown last night. And, he has been known to come out during Roman Reigns matches and get involved. He's usually quite physical in Roman Reigns matches. He has been involved in the feud as well, certainly in the build to this match. And I think he's definitely had a match with Daniel Bryan recently as well. So I think it does kind of write, the story with getting Jey involved as well, especially with his recent win at the Battle Royal last night. Which could lead to Roman Reigns losing and then having a proper feud between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. I'm still not sure which way I'm going to go. I think Edge possibly, but Nick, I've got to kind of find out who your prediction is going to be in this one.
Not just Jey Uso. I think Jimmy could make a return as well. Yeah. Jimmy's been fit, I think, for a good few weeks. So I'd expect Jimmy and Jey to get their hands dirty during this one. But yeah, I think obviously Bryan's been added to potentially protect Reigns for Edge to get the 1, 2, 3. But I also think Bryan has been added to protect Reigns' heel character. So I think they were worried that Reigns would get cheered over Edge if it was just a one-on-one. So they put Bryan in to guarantee he gets the cheers, and Reigns still gets booed. Otherwise, it would have totally. You don't want Edge coming back and then being booed over the top heel of the company. So I think Bryan's there to get the cheers as well. But yeah, I want to see batshit crazy Reigns. I want Reigns to lose the belt and just go berserk. I mean, he lost the belt. It wasn't his fault. He never got pinned. Nobody's safe. SmackDown next week. Everybody's getting demolished because Reigns is on a tearaway path to get that belt back. He's still the head of the table, damn it. He never got beat. He's just berserk.
Psycho Roman Reigns. Yeah. Nobody wants to see that. Well, we do want to see that, but nobody wants to be in the path of Psycho Roman Reigns for sure. But that'll be entertaining TV. And another kind of spin on his character. I mean, his character as a heel has been absolutely fantastic, but that will give him an opportunity to turn it up a couple more notches, maybe. I do hope that Daniel Bryan hasn't just been added to take the pinfall. I think there's got to be more to it. And they have built a good story between these three. And There's so many different ways that this match could go. I mean, we've got scumbags again that have come back and said that his heart says Daniel Bryan, my nostalgia and patriotism says Edge, but Roman needs to stay strong as the head of the table and not chase the title. So very, very interesting. Crikey, that's a bit of a pick'em, that one. That really is a pick'em. And a lot of people are saying that it's kind of taken the shine away from Edge having Daniel Bryan inserted, because he was the clear a Royal Rumble winner, of course. And I think a lot of people expected it to be Edge versus Roman Reigns, Spear versus Spear. But inserting Daniel Bryan, I think, has added another element to the match. And you've kind of got that excellent, technical mastery of Daniel Bryan, which you've got 3 different types of wrestlers in the match. And I think that's going to really, really give us a great dynamic and a wonderful main event tomorrow night. We got another comment from Matt Bayliss. Whoever wins, the fans win. The promos between these 3 have been amazing. This week's Talking Smack with Heyman and Edge was phenomenal. I haven't seen that yet, but I've got a few hours before Mania starts, and I'm going to cram that into my 3 hours of kind of catching up on things, getting myself even more hyped before the big show. And I'm not on about Paul White. Guys, I think that pretty much wraps up our chat about WrestleMania 37. Now, I do think we've got some musical entrances or some musical interludes. Now, I think Rhea Ripley is going to get played to the ring with This Is My Brutality from the band. I think it's Ash Costello. So she's going to be playing Rhea Ripley to the ring tonight or tomorrow, and Big E's going to get played to the ring as well with some live music. So some extra things to look forward to there. I mean, we've spoken about all 13 or 14 matches that are going to be playing out over the next couple of days. We've spoken about a lot of fantasy booking scenarios and how we think the matches are going to play out, and possibly some returns. And I know there was a comment that I didn't bring up on screen earlier, but Kieron off air, and I know another one of our viewers mentioned that Becky Lynch has been throwing some hints on social media that she could be making an appearance at WrestleMania. So that'll be quite interesting as well. I think all in all, and especially now that I've spoken to you 2 gentlemen about it, it's gearing up to be quite a good WrestleMania. Is there a particular night 1 or night 2 that you're looking forward to most, gentlemen? And I'm going to start with Kieron.
I think for pure build up to matches, and for the hope in my heart that they add some stipulations to some stuff, I'm gonna have to go night 2. Mainly because I want them to add something to Fiend Randy, because at the minute that match has no interest. I might even go have a power nap during that match. I mean, if there's no stipulation added to it, it's just going to be those 2 wrestling. And last time we saw that, it's sometimes not very pleasant to watch.
That could be the match when I watch my pizza cook in the oven, to be honest with you. So that's my least match. That's my match I'm least excited for. But so you're going for night 2. Nick, I see you kind of held up your 2 fingers. I'm guessing you're going for night 2 as well. Yep. Any particular reason why?
Zayn's Owen, Riddle, Sheamus. We've already said Big E and Cruz could be the sleeper match of the night. It's Daniel Bryan, Edge, and it's Roman Reigns. Anyone who's complaining about Daniel Bryan being added to that match just needs to wind their head in. A match doesn't get made any worse because Daniel Bryan's in it. It gets made better. Daniel Bryan doesn't make a match worse. And another thing we haven't talked about, Hulk Hogan and Titus O'Neil. Obviously having hosting duties.
The Warrior Award winner Titus O'Neil, the immortal Hulk Hogan. Hopefully, it's just there to introduce the show at the very beginning, then we never see them again. That's the best. That's the best type of WrestleMania host. But now that you've mentioned their names, I can't help but think they could get involved as well. But I mean, Titus O'Neil, no. Hogan's, please let him just introduce the show and be gone.
Is he Hogan's obligatory black friend?
Say that again, Nick.
Is he Hogan's obligatory black friend? Is that Hogan's black?
Well, yes, there's still that controversy, and Hogan hasn't kind of apologized for his racist comments all them years ago. But yes, who knows? So we've got so much to look forward to. I'm even more hyped about the 2 nights and about WrestleMania 37 more than I was before we started this live broadcast. So I've had a hell of a lot of fun talking to you over the last hour and 20 minutes. Before we say goodbye, Kieron, I know we're going to be speaking to you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock UK time, 10 a.m. Eastern, to review night 1 of WrestleMania. But where can we reach out to you on social media, and where can we listen to your podcast?
So I've just decided, because I'm going to stay up and watch it anyway, I'm going to do a live Twitter feed of WrestleMania tonight. So on Twitter, it's KJ Pro Wrestling 1. Instagram is KJ Pro 1. And that's all I've got at the minute, apart from my Facebook page, which is just type in KJPWP and I'll pop up.
Cool. And we look forward to your first episode dropping soon. Nick, you got Molly Spartan, your episode with Molly Spartan dropping tomorrow. But where can we reach out and say hi to you on social media, and where can we listen to all of your fantastic content?
You can find it on YouTube, you can find it on Spotify, you can find it wherever they play good podcasts. So, on Apple, Chrome, Anchor, Podbean, it's all over the shop. On YouTube, just search for Nick Towers, WTLS. Nick is NIK. Find me on Twitter at WorkLeft. And just say hi, leave me a few comments, have a bit of interaction. Just tell me I'm a twat if needs be. Just some sort of interaction. Come speak to me.
Wouldn't dream of calling you a twat at all, Nick. But another place you can find KJPWP and Work the Left Side is, of course, the Wrestling with Johners, the Johners podcasting network at wrestlingwithjohners.com. That's wrestlingwithjohners.com. We got about 27 shows on there now, 27 channels, and growing by the week. Some of the best podcast and YouTube content you are likely to find anywhere, and it's one of the most exciting podcasting networks available at the moment. But guys, I want to thank you so much for being a valuable part to this show. Nick, you've done your run of shows now with me to celebrate WrestleMania weekend, so thank you very much for your stint. Kieron, we're going to see more of you tomorrow, but guys, it's been an absolute blast, and enjoy WrestleMania, guys. And if you're watching at home, enjoy WrestleMania. Watch our review shows tomorrow, 3 o'clock UK time, and then we're covering night 2 on Monday at 8 p.m. So enjoy WrestleMania. Catch up with you all again soon.